afternoon in Gosford as Central Coast gets set to host the Wellington Phoenix in the Isuzu Ute A-League Men's. Plenty of New South Wales-based and travelling support for the visiting team. And decked out in yellow, the Mariners hoping that they can record another win here at home, having been so thrilled a fortnight ago in the F3 Derby. These two teams have got a real neck-and-neck history. In fact, if the Mariners were to win today, as we see the two teams in the Isuzu Ute Tunnel Camp, they would square away the all-time head-to-head record at 22 wins apiece, with 11 draws in there as well. And certainly at the beginning of the season, the chance to turbocharge with another 3 points in the bank and remain towards the pointy end of the table will be all important. The Mariners fans are hoping that it will be them who can salute this afternoon with this optimistic young team. There's the win probability. Central Coast favoured at home, of course. The Phoenix will have happy memories of netting 8 here some 7 years ago. And the visit to Polytech Stadium rarely concerns them. They do have some famous wins on the road here. So both teams out of the tunnel. Mariners in their yellow home kit and the Phoenix looking striking in their dark contrast. Pitch in excellent condition. It played host to an A-League women's match, which the Mariners won 3-0 immediately prior to this. And it's perfect conditions for football today. Central Coast make one change to the starting 11. Nico Duarte comes in, and Haynes drops out of the matchday squad. Bailey Brandman and potential debutant Alexi Haridas joins another potential debutant, Shumba Murakoi, on the Mariners bench. There is Nico Duarte, the hero of the F3 Derby in round 1. We heard his fantastic backstory, being the nephew of Alex Brosk, and he is still making strides at the beginning of his A-League men's career, only 21 years old. Let's take a look at the Phoenix lineup. They're coming off that stirring come-from-behind win against the Brisbane Roar. 2 changes. Isaac Hughes is in for the first time this season, and Schwen Loke moves into the starters. Potential debutant, mature age Dan Edwards, the 27-year-old. The Kiwi who's been plying his trade in Australian NPL for a number of years is among the substitutes on the bench. No Tim Payne or Mandrake James due to injury. And there is Schwen Loke. What a moment for him. A first Isuzu Ute A-League start. We've seen plenty of him in Australia Cup, and he's often been on the bench for the Wellington Phoenix, but just the 2 appearances, both as a sub. Today, the 20-year-old is in to start, so a fantastic moment for him. Warren Moon is the interim coach of the Central Coast Mariners, but he's made a pretty good start to life, and I guess we'll learn a lot about the team after their defeat away at Leichhardt Oval to Sydney FC last weekend, how they bounce back. And the Wellington Phoenix have perhaps defied some of the pre-season pessimism that was around the club to make a solid start to the campaign so far. And if they can win today, then maybe the magic of the season before last will start to be recaptured. Today's whistleblower is Tim Danaskos, assistants Astro Sakalis and Hugh Fenton-White, and the 4th official is Jonathan Barrero. And in the VAR booth, Sam Kelly and Ben Abraham are standing by should any incidents need video review. Alex Rufer ready to marshal the midfield game. 170 in the league for him. Finro Conchi will be in there alongside. Andrew Redmayne has been one of the main talking points of the Mariners this season, closing in on 300 games, number 279 today, so if he plays the full campaign, he'll salute with game 300. And that's the net he's defending as he looks down the pitch. Mariners to attack from left to right in the first half, and the Wellington Phoenix to take kickoff. 3 valuable points to continue setting the tone early in the season on the line. And we're underway in the Isuzu Ute A-League. This round 3 clash between the Central Coast Mariners and Wellington Phoenix, and it's my pleasure to welcome former Matilda Grace Gill to the broadcast. And Grace, we're hoping for an up-tempo, optimistic game as both teams try to win and continue what they would consider to be pretty good starts to the season so far.
Well, good afternoon, Taylor. Great to be here alongside you. Lovely afternoon up at Gosford. And a big response this afternoon needed from the Central Coast Mariners. We saw how well they played here a couple of weeks ago against the Newcastle Jets.
Straight away, Sabit-Nyor may have sprung the Wellington defence. Edmondson's on in the middle, and the Mariners score in the first minute. Flag stays down, or does it? The goal is given. And now the assistant referee runs back and raises the flag way up the pitch.
We'll have a look at this one, and it is a good call. You can see the run of Eze and Edmondson, both players offside in that picture. In what looked to be an absolute dream start for the home side. Ryan Edmondson would not receive an easier tap-in than that one. It's not to be. Wellington get another chance to start things over, and how dearly they'll need that one.
I think as far as Wellington are concerned, maybe they would argue that the offside trap worked, and even though the Mariners get the little thrill of the ball in the net, maybe it's not jarring to the Phoenix's confidence. It's interesting how a early season narrative can become set in stone, whether it was physical Brisbane Roar or Wellington's high line, and yet here it is manifesting in the very first minute of play. As we see a long ball unleashed here by Nagasawa. Ishige trying to run onto it as Redmayne clears. Flashing past Miguel DiPizio. Seized upon by Alfie McCalmont. Here's Nico Duarte. McCalmont, ball over the top. Possession given away by DiPizio in curious fashion. Nagasawa distributing out to the left. Iviani Eze coming off his first goal in the opening round. To add to his tally. Rufer. And now Isaac Hughes in for the first time this season. Back at the centre of defence. 35th game today for the 21-year-old. Who's certainly making a name for himself in Phoenix colours. Battle for possession as Brad Tapp wins a little show of strength. Of course, Tapp is only recently back from missing all of last season with a torn ACL, but third game back. Solid already. Phoenix on the attack. Carlo Armiento. And the second ball is on here. Sheridan. Nagasawa. Rufer happy to direct traffic. And now a diagonal ball probing the right side. Loke. Cut back, and a good save initially by Redmayne, but not enough to deny Iviani Eze on the follow-up. There is an early goal, but the Phoenix are the ones who score it. And it's 2 in 3 for the Nigerian Iviani Eze.
Well, the early warning sign for the Wellington Phoenix has come back in their favour. Wonderful ball over the top on the Harvey Norman replay. Really stretches the field. And this good play, the cutback should be finished on the second time. A strong hand from Andrew Redmayne, but he can do no more with the second prod at it. An unnerving finish from Eze. He's in the spot. That is an easy finish, and that has put the Wellington Phoenix in front.
Well, he was a bold signing off the back of his goal-scoring record in Iraq at Al-Kark, and he's acclimatised to New Zealand. He's clearly well liked by his teammates, and now he has 2 goals to his name. Schwen Loke in his first A-League start with the cutback there. Finro Akonchi was firing at what would have been his first A-League goal, not to be. Instead, it's Eze who capitalises, and the Mariners go from the excitement of thinking they'd scored in the first minute to being behind within 4 of them.
It was a great switch of play to stretch the field and really open up the Mariners' defence. And of course, there has to be a question mark after last week's game. I know the call over Eze, the contention of the possible red card wasn't awarded. And had that been, obviously wouldn't be involved in today's match. But nonetheless, he's on the spot, he's there, it's a neat finish.
Potential giveaway here. Steele throws his head back in disappointment as the Phoenix are able to shark his pass. However, they work backwards. Hughes. Loke. Can't find Eze with that pass. Paul came in to intercept. Now Nyor for the Mariners. Sees the underlapping run, and it's a good one from Moragas. And he misses Edmondson with the cross. He was making ground in the middle, but the Mariners in transition there looking lightning quick.
Yeah, it's looking really promising, and that's good play from the Mariners. This cross from Moragas, he's got a great left foot, just needed a little bit more curl on it. The legs of Duarte couldn't quite make it.
Lucas Moragas, who of course spent one season on loan at the Wellington Phoenix, the 22-23 campaign, when at the time he was a Newcastle player. Phoenix have now got an affinity with a different, extremely left-footed Australian, Carlo Armiento, who's making space to receive the pass here as he steers it back to Kelly Heald. There's a look at his right foot as he sets Kelly Heald away. Eze touches it on. Roa Conchi in the pocket. He was crunched. He was crunched by Harry Steele, and the referee perfectly positioned to give a free kick in shooting range here. And the Phoenix will line up a shot at doubling their lead.
The ball trotted through from Eze, and to be fair, Roa Conchi's first touch invites the challenge. It's a crunching one from Steele. And this is a really good chance right on the edge of the 18-yard box, and the player's capable to strike from this kind of range.
Is it one of those ones where even if he gets the ball, he gets too much of the man on top of it as well? Or do you think he's maybe unlucky to give away the free kick?
Oh, I think there's enough body in the challenge for it to be a free kick, but you've just got to be so measured in those kind of areas.
Now, Hideki Ishige has happy memories of this net, specifically here at Polytech Stadium. He scored a marvellous free kick from a good 15 metres further back when the Phoenix came to visit last campaign. This is a lot closer in. You can see the defensive wall has been packed by Andrew Redmayne there, and they've got the sleeper lying on the ground behind. Will it be enough to keep Hideki Ishige out? He's having a good hard look, deciding exactly where to go. And look at this, the Phoenix, they're putting two men in front of the wall themselves. Ishige hits the woodwork. Very nearly two. And the second time ball is going to make Redmayne work. He parries it out for a corner. And so the Wellington Phoenix agonisingly close to doubling their lead.
Well, the first one, all Andrew Redmayne could do was stop and look in wonder. It was a beautiful strike, denied only by the woodwork. And the second time had Redmayne scrambling. But this too just strikes off the woodwork. Redmayne has to find a little touch to steer that away.
And so Wellington remain on the attack, a corner kick. And that left foot of Carlo Armiento can go to work right here. An in-swinger as expected, too far in, too much swing, and an anticlimax as the ball catches the roof of the net.
Well, 10 minutes, opening 10 minutes almost have started in an absolute flash. Really transitional football. Early goal ruled offside for Central Coast. A response in kind to that man, Eze, announcing himself to Wellington fans.
Moragas' high clearance. Edmondson meeting the sandwich between two opponents, and he was coming back from an offside position.
Was a big target is Ryan Edmondson. Just drifted back in from the offside position. We've seen the Wellington Phoenix line pressing really high right up on that halfway mark.
And a defensive header, safety first from Storm Roo. It is going to find the paint of the line, conceding a throw in. Armiento, Kelly Heald, Rufa. Pizio trying to defend from the front. Cross into a midfield 50-50. Ishige's come off worse for wear, and Steele concedes another foul. He leaves the scene. Hideki Ishige was in trouble the moment contact was made.
Well, it's fairly agricultural, the challenge from Harry Steele. One just a couple of minutes ago on Roa Conchi now. Upending Ishige in the middle of the park. Looks a little worse for wear after that one.
Just got to be careful, 3 fouls in 11 minutes. Slight delay here as Ishige is still down sore. Gives us a chance to go down to the sideline and say good afternoon to Ben Homer. Ben, it's been a fast and furious start to this one.
That it has, Teo. Good afternoon to you and Grace. And this isn't looking great for Hideki Ishige as the trainer goes out. Giancarlo Italiano very frustrated about the potential of another injury that he's going to have to deal with this season. He's been very animated on the sideline, as animated as I've seen. And I know he spoke about last week against Brisbane that he was a bit more up and about on the sideline. That is clear this afternoon. What is also clear is the respect between these two coaches. I've never seen two coaches talk so long before a game. They were there for probably at least 30, maybe even more minutes, just having a yak there in the tunnel. Giancarlo Italiano and Warren Moon, and they did have a long chat previously about the pressures of coaching at this level, and obviously a real shared respect between opposite coaches this afternoon. Just a final one from me. Schwinn Logue, A-League men's starting debut, a player who says that football saved him after his mum passed away due to cancer when he was just 11. Him and his dad, they got in the little Toyota Corolla, drove from Dunedin to Wellington. Well, starting debut in the A-League today. Massive part to play in the first goal for Wellington. That is a really special moment. Not this, though, for Ishige, who's coming to the sideline.
Keep a keen eye on it, please, Benny, because it looks as though the entire Wellington bench has been set to warm up. Grace, again, another look at the potential injury here.
Yeah, that left knee that is clutching out immediately. I've got a question about a couple of players on their knees in front of the Central Coast Mariners wall. I've not seen that before, I've got to say, Teo. Effective to the extent that the free kick was quality.
Hard to know exactly what it's designed to do, even if it's just a distraction or a nuisance value. I'm sure there will be some logic to it. Ishige is back up and running. I did see Wellington with some interesting kickoff routines last season. I don't know, when you're trying to innovate, not all of them are winners. However, this innovation here, Eze trying to stretch the defensive line of the Mariners. He's off to a great start in the A-League. Here's Paul for the Mariners. Now Steele. Oh, Ishige was sliding after him and he's down again. Bad signs for the Phoenix. Oluwayemi is, the hand signals coming from Ishige down the pitch. He's given the big cross and now he's slapping the turf. So the Phoenix might be wise to put the ball out of play here. Oluwayemi, it's going to remain live and the Mariners can attack if they want to. Moragas. Steele. And the referee is going to whistle play dead rather than let the Mariners continue. So the home fans are going to have their say, and so is Andrew Redmayne. And Naru Cassidy is being suited up on the bench, potential debutant for the Wellington Phoenix. 19 years old, from Waterside, Karori in the western suburbs, and he also went to the 2023 Under-17 World Cup. So what a situation to be thrown into here, as we have another look at how Ishige's attempt to return to the game has come a cropper within seconds.
Well, it was a little slip, but immediately clutching again at that left knee, or just below the knee. Obviously something giving out, and that's not a good sign at all. He knew straight away he's gone to ground. And a real shame. Ishige's been really influential for the Wellington Phoenix, but obviously in some serious discomfort.
Ben Homer's got a bird's eye view of all of this unfolding on the Phoenix bench. Benny Homer, sideline.
Well, I just wonder whether Wellington actually saw, and I think you mentioned this, Teo, whether they saw that Ishige went down, because they didn't put the ball out, and that's why the Mariners blew up and Storm Roos sprinted over to Tim Danaskis. Andrew Redmayne was waving his finger. He's saying, well, hang on a second. Wellington's player was down. They didn't put it out, so why do we have to then put it out? And that's a fair point, but I think Wellington, honestly, they didn't see Ishige was lying on the turf. That's the only explanation that I have. Just a quick word on Cassidy. He actually doesn't even have his name on the back of this jumper. That's how new he is in terms of this Wellington squad. So was chatting to Chiefy before the start of the season. He said that Cassidy can play 6, 8, 10, so he can play as that holding midfield a little bit higher up the pitch in a more attacking role as well. And he was also on standby for the under-20 New Zealand squad for that recent World Cup. So he's a talented player, but he's got some big shoes to fill.
He sure does, but as far as Kiwi youth, he's got a pretty good rap on him, so let's see how he goes with a big chunk of game time here to make an impact. And this is the last thing Wellington wanted to see. One of their prime movers and key players who's come agonisingly close to scoring in this game already, having to leave the match with what looks like a pretty serious injury.
Yeah, a real shame. And I hope it's not too serious. Obviously struggling to put weight through that left leg. We saw last week Tim Payne go down, broken collarbone. That's going to put him out for several weeks, a couple of months. And James as well at the centre of defence for Wellington Phoenix, unavailable today, a quad strain in training throughout the week. So the casualty bench just starting to climb for Chiefy. Disappointing scenes.
So the substitution now will take place. And 19-year-old Mari Cassidy comes on for his Isuzu Ute A-League men's debut. And hopefully his career goes in a trajectory that will look back on memories of his debut in the number 50 with no name on the back of his shirt and say how far he's climbed.
Well, the shirt tuck is Dylan Leonard-esque, and I don't mind it at all. Really high hopes for the young midfielder in Mari Cassidy. And a big afternoon ahead.
Kelly Heald with a header. Game back underway after a significant delay. That'll all be tacked on in first half stoppage time. First touch for the sub. Now outside of the foot pass, really clever. Nearly. And the long shot from Eze after he was set away by Nagasawa. Ben Homo is having a quick word to the fourth official, Johnny Barrero, so we'll get that intel in a moment. I'm just seeing him down at the sideline, perhaps having a word about Harry Steele. We'll catch up with him as soon as he's got the latest intel from the sideline. In the meantime, the Mariners are hunting an equaliser. Edmondson, as Oluwayemi comes out, read the bounce well enough. Kelly Heald flicks it over his shoulder. Amiento decides not to rush forward too quickly. Back pass here, plenty of trust in the defence. Rufer and Sheridan. And now Eze coming deep. Sheridan. Roaconchi rides one challenge. Now Nagasawa in space. Amiento motoring down the left. Has he got someone to cross to, or does he go direct at the target here? Amiento shoots on the tight angle, and the follow-up is cleared away. Carlo Amiento had Andrew Redmayne left hand outstretched there. And in spite of losing Ishige, Wellington remain on the attack. They remain aggressive. Eze, bit of fortune with the ball deflecting back to him. Amiento is causing havoc over on this left side. Decides to hold up play for now. Nagasawa. Cassidy. Cassidy, return pass. Nagasawa, look at the link up here between Wellington and nearly for Amiento as across comes Paul to sweep it out with the Mariners. They need to switch on here. Phoenix look, if anything, sharper after the restart than before.
Yeah, it's really nice play from Wellington. That good weight behind the pass is Amiento. That one just making it a little difficult for himself. Nathan Paul again in the captain's armband across to cover.
Hughes. Roaconchi. Loke was his outlet. Down the right sideline. Tries to connect the 1-2. And Nathan Paul is trusting the ball to roll out, and it does give us a chance to go back down to Ben Homer, who's got the latest intel from both Chiefy and the fourth official. Ben.
Yeah, so Tao, I was a bit confused why there wasn't a massive blow up from the Wellington bench when that steal challenge came in on Ishiget. And I spoke to Giancarlo Italiano about it. I said, why were you guys sort of not blowing up about it? He said, well, we didn't see it. And I then spoke to Jonathan Barrera, the fourth official. I said, what was the view of the VAR? He said they checked it pretty quickly. They didn't think it was a red card. Obviously, they can't rule if it was a yellow. And they said it was all clear from that end. So I was just having a look at that replay. I'd love to get Grace's thoughts. What did you think, Grace? Did you think it was worthy of a card or anything more from the referee?
Thanks, Benny. Yeah, I think Harry Steele's probably a bit lucky not to get away with a yellow card. I agree. I don't think it's a red card on that occasion. He's a player we know gets stuck in, Harry Steele, last year in the regular season, 4 yellow cards, and he definitely toes the line of that physicality and aggression. And I think really the real concern is for Ishige, because that looks like a really nasty injury and such a shame for the Wellington Phoenix.
Good news, at least in the short term for Wellington, is the way they've played since that substitution took place. Naira Cassidy is keeping things ticking over in midfield. Look at the confidence demanding the ball here. Roa Conchi. Loke into the path of Eze. As he wheels into the box, trying to open up an angle. Showed too much of the ball to Alfie McCalmont, who came back to help out in the defence, and Brad Tapp clears away. Pizio has been starved of a chance to get the Mariners ticking. What do the Central Coast need to do, Grace, to swing the momentum a little bit here?
Well, at the moment they're struggling to get out of their own defensive half with any kind of meaning. And Wellington have them pinned in really well. We've seen for the last couple of games the Phoenix holding onto the lion's share of possession. That's evidenced again in this opening 20 minutes or so. And see there those stats, 29% to the Central Coast Mariners, 71 to Wellington. So really for the Mariners, it's getting their foot on the ball, connecting simple passes and finding a way out through what is an impressive so far Phoenix press.
And that possession stat continues to skew further in Wellington's favour as they own the ball here. Trying to draw the Mariners out and open some gaps behind the ball. Sheridan. Roa Conchi goes to ground. Paul. Does he have a forward pass that he likes? He doesn't. Steele will go back to Storm Root. Eze nearly able to intercept the pass from Tapp. All's well that ends well for the Mariners, and now they can venture forward. Moragas bending it into the box. Oh, Edmondson slipped at the key moment. Duarte, an awkward bounce to deal with. Rue, shallow cross, blocked away and dealt with by Kelly Heald. Storm Rue able to wrestle back possession. Duarte and DiPizio. DiPizio fashions across, a little bit too much on him.
Well, that's better from the Mariners. Good movement down the left-hand side, and Lucas Moragas, well, you know you're always going to get a good quality on that delivery, on that left boot. It's a slip from Edmondson. And Duarte's almost not prepared for it, thinking Edmondson was going to get the touch. And that final re-entry from DiPizio, well, he'll be disappointed with that. Good numbers forward. What has been in the last few minutes a rare foray into their attacking third. Yet to register a single shot on target, the Mariners.
Josh Oluwayemi deep into the attacking half with the goal kick and a bounce. And a deflection. Roa Conchi taking it down to the right corner. Loke, Cassidy and Roa Conchi keeping the ball. Nagasawa outside of the foot pass. Amiento! Stinging the fingertips of Andrew Redmayne. We know that left foot is a cannon. And it fired there, straight at the Mariners keeper.
A little wry smile as well from Amiento, and why not? We've seen in the last couple of weeks a goal in each game. It's from this angle every time. The left foot, the left boot, putting the laces through it. Andrew Redmayne is positioned well steers it over the crossbar, but Wellington have a little bit more trouble on their hands.
Finroa Conchi this time has taken a seat. So the Phoenix do have a corner, but it's on hold. Well, they're going to be forced into another change in the opening half of the action here. Subs continue to warm up. Still not apparent what body part is the trouble here, as the physio comes out for a conversation. There's Gabriel Sloan Rodriguez and also Jaden Smith warming up. All right, here's the moment of truth.
That left ankle, yep, just as he plants, and the contact. If you look at his left ankle, just that moment there, under the weight of the challenge coming through, just a little stinger, should be okay to continue back on his feet, which is good to see.
So the resulting corner. In swinger from Armiento to the near post. Solid header by Paul. He's not breaking out just yet though, as the Phoenix are back in possession. Armiento stuck in a 1-on-2. Nyor. Maracus slipped. And out of the tangle, the Mariners will get a free kick to relieve the pressure that Wellington were trying to build. To see the sides of the pitch that the attacks are taking place down. Midfield battle shaded just with the defensive end of the Mariners seeing almost a third of play so far. Not too many ventures down to their attacking end. The home side hoping to change all that right here with Nico Duarte. A sweeping ball just beyond the touch of Edmondson. He decided to keep his feet rather than lunge for it.
That's an excellent ball from Nico Duarte. Really, really good. And a little disappointing, Edmondson just not working to make some sort of contact, thinking maybe there was a player behind him coming through. But great vision from Duarte. Great early delivery.
Maracus with his right foot this time. Ball is cleared away. '29th A-League game today for Ryan Edmondson. Just the 6 goals. Of course, when you score in a grand final, it does buy you considerable grace. He'd love to get his strike rate ticking back up. Maracus working with DiPizio. Mariners about to enjoy a bit more possession, a bit more time down in their attack. Nico Duarte, the man to make something happen. But he's second to the ball here. Armiento's claiming that it was last touch off the Mariners man, and the assistant referee over on the near side, Astros Carlos, agrees.
A great defensive effort by Armiento. On first glance, it looks like it comes off Armiento's boot, and you can see the shout and the conversation the players are having. Armiento just steadying himself back into position.
A few wry smiles from the Phoenix winger. It's been all action in this game so far. Taps header. Cassidy. Andrew Redmayne pulls off his teammates and takes the ball. Danny Vukovic from the Mariners bench. Eavesdropping on him there. He's saying to the 4th official that the central referee called something that he didn't see if he didn't catch it quite clearly. And that conversation continues as the Mariners build up over on the opposite side of the pitch. DiPizio. McCalmont. Long hopeful ball for Duarte. It's going to meet him in stride. Armiento and Duarte resume their duel. Little step over from the Mariners winger. Steele. McCalmont. Storm Ruiz got forward on the right. Did he time his run? No, he didn't. Flags up. Offside. Central referee has now seen the flag.
Yeah, good call from the assistant referee. And Storm Roo can see the whole length of field in front of him from that position, where you just have to have the discipline, hold your line.
So there has been a bit of a shift in momentum. The Mariners have at least balanced out general play and territory. Are they drawing closer to an equaliser, though, is the question. High up and under from Steele off the back of Duarte's head. Cassidy. Nagasawa. Oluwayemi, direct up the middle. Eze might have been coming back from an offside position. And Warren Moon is happy with the Mariners that the Phoenix were simply happy to yield the ball back to them.
But that's good play from the Mariners, sensing that momentum that you talked about, Teo, and Edmondson putting good pressure, ultimately leading to that long clearance from Oluwayemi. It's played right back into the hands for the home side, and they need a bit of time with the ball at their feet. Need to find a way back into this game.
DiPizio is becoming more and more prominent. The high line again sees open field to break into. Goalkeeper out of his line. Oluwayemi getting there before Sabatnyor.
Well, risk reward is this high line, and even had that one gone through, Edmondson.
Another bending ball. Oluwayemi out. Kelly Heald got it away in the nick of time. Some players really are struggling to keep their feet on the surface here at Polytech Stadium. Others are looking a lot more comfortable. Rufa. Roa Conchi. No ill effects of the knock which had him receive some brief treatment some minutes ago. As DiPizio a little too overzealous in his challenging of Rufa.
I think this is the Mariners just trying to wrestle back a little bit of momentum in their own favour. Slow things down on their own terms. Not allow the Phoenix to break quickly. Of course, Rufa pulls the strings in the base of the midfield for this Wellington side. He was a big part of their comeback last weekend against Brisbane. And he often is for the Wellington team. Alex Rufa is such a wonderful leader.
Important header to win there from Brad Tapp, because any sort of flick was setting Eze away. Long ball from Tapp. Space to work with for Cassidy. Nagasawa. Meg McCalmont. Referee had to take evasive action. Armiento. Switch of flanks over to Loke. Good first touch. Doesn't want to advance though. Waits for Cassidy instead. Now Sheridan. Giancarlo Italiano not happy with the stalling there. I think he wanted Loke to keep advancing down that right flank. And now Sabatnyor has stolen the ball off Sheridan. Nyor. He engages Hughes, puts it in the middle, and he lost his feet when it might have come back to him, uncontested at the edge of the box.
Oh, it's a huge moment for the Mariners. It's gone begging. A great break, good look forward from Sabatnyor. Looked a dangerous prospect, but just as quickly as it's down one end, back it comes with the Phoenix.
talk us through the replay.
Yeah, well, it's a gamble from Yor, and it's a good one as well. And there's this little moment of indecision. He has to either shoot or find a centering pass. In the end, he does neither. Holds onto the ball for half a breath too long.
Got to say, 35 minutes in, it's a rarity that you see teams breaking into open space against a high defensive line this often, particularly in the A-League, where both teams sometimes want to play counter-attack against each other. It's a rarity that one team will give the other the opportunity to break into open space on a regular basis. Dangerous pass here from Tap to Pizio. Did get to the ball first. Got there before Roa Conchi.
You can hear the shouts on the sideline of Go wanting his team, Chiefy, to put pressure. And Eze came flying in.
Nagasawa. Pizio left on the ground, disappointed. Phoenix aren't going at pace though. Roof is going to be patient here. Sheridan trying to rebuild confidence after coughing the ball up a moment ago. That's one way to do it. Eze steaming through the right, and he gets a second crack and puts it in the side netting. Maybe a little too unselfish first time around. And then on an even tighter angle, he's put it wide. Looks as though he's going to get a corner for his efforts.
Well, decision-making in this moment after what was a really good ball put through from Matthew Sheridan. Should have shot at the first time, crossed to the second, and did the exact opposite. And both hands up in an apology to his teammate. He's looked really lively, really dangerous off the shoulder, and Nathan Paul, who has been excellent in this opening half, just got found out on that occasion.
Well, the straight line speed was on show there. But as you say, Grace, when it was decision time, on an acute angle, the end result is a corner, and Loke is putting it to the near post. Acrobatic header away from Storm Rue, and then the follow-up from Sheridan, who's yet to score an A-League goal, catches a big ricochet and heads out for a goal kick.
Well, would have been a pretty special goal from Sheridan. Had this little flick found its way to worry Andrew Redmayne.
So there might be 7 minutes of regulation to go in the first half, but due to the injury to Hideki Ishige, we can expect a big number to come up on the fourth official's board. So plenty of action to go before the half-time interval here. Enough time for Eze to make a mark here. Tap rises to the header. Cassidy just underhit the pass ever so slightly, and Roa Conchi, in winning a foul, he's down sore. Moragas argues his case, but for the second time in the game, Finn Roa Conchi has issues.
Challenge looked just a moment late coming in from Moragas on Roa Conchi. This is the challenge. Yeah, just a bit late, that right foot of Moragas. Lunging for the ball, but does cop a big part of Finn Roa Conchi's foot. Been in the wars in this opening half.
Interesting, only 5 total fouls, but it's certainly been a physical game with some big flashpoints to do with tackling, and some of them quite late. So a brains trust of players over this free kick here. Carlo Armiento might be the choice for a direct shot, but the way the Mariners have set up, they seem to think that maybe the right-footed Nagasawa could be the more likely taker here. They're going to keep us guessing. It is Nagasawa, and it's effective enough to win a corner, although there wasn't really a Phoenix attacker in the vicinity.
Well, a few moments earlier, it was Lucas Kelly-Heald who was just floating off the line of the defenders. The kick comes through, and it's Wellington who pulled back their runners, and the Mariners following all the way through, as any good defenders should in that occasion.
Our ear on the sideline feeding back up to us, suggesting that the Phoenix wanted that to be a training ground set play and Nagasawa didn't follow the orders. Let's see if this corner kick is a bit more to their liking. Armiento. Redmayne with a solid fist. Cassidy. Loke with a burst of acceleration. It needs to be cleared by the Mariners. No one wants to do it. And Eze had a chance at the end of a line of Mariners, all of whom absconded their responsibility.
Well, somehow the ball just snuck all the way through past 1, 2, 3 Central Coast Mariners players. Eze with a chance. Armiento underneath screaming for the ball. Another good opportunity for the Phoenix.
Well, Eze's had the chances to double his tally well and truly now. Nagasawa. Luke, difficult to control the bouncing ball. And as he's wiped out by tap, nothing untoward according to the referee. And the Mariners are off the hook. Perhaps a little fortunate not to be 2-0 down by this point.
Well, at very least, that last chance should have resulted in a shot on target.
And if you're watching from New Zealand on your Sunday evening, don't forget the New Zealand derby next week. It's a Wellington home game. It's a double header with the A-League Women's. Get your tickets. You can watch it on 10 Drama and Paramount Plus from Australia, and of course on Sky Sport New Zealand. But if you're in New Zealand, you've got no excuse not to be there. The New Zealand derby was a special occasion last season, and it's going to be pretty awesome again in 2025-26. Of course, the Melbourne derby will follow it next weekend, Saturday night, AAMI Park. Where else would you want to be? Melbourne Victory coming off a very impressive Friday night win. Juan Mata scoring his first goal for the club. Of course, Melbourne City are unbeaten. Here goes Savignon from the right flank. Outside of the foot cross was clever. Edmondson stuck in the middle. And the Mariners are able to earn a corner at the end of it, but it could have been so much more.
But that's so much better from Savignon. Made an early decision, and it was a good one. Great shape on the delivery outside of the left boot, impressively so. And Ryan Edmondson is amped up.
He's been the target man in the middle. Unable to get the decisive touch on a couple of occasions now. In swinging corner. Allowed to bounce in the area. Muir will retrieve the ball. A high looping cross. Oluwayemi's come a long way out and a confident claim. He committed early and he rose high.
Well, if you come in that far off your line to collect the ball, sure as anything, you need to make the claim. Really well done by Oluwayemi. Good, strong hands.
Long ball here. Eze judged it well and puts it wide. Route 1 football from the Phoenix nearly pays off. And the reaction from the striker says it all.
The reaction from the striker, the reaction from the goalkeeper as well, almost getting himself an assist. Eze reading the flight of the ball really, really well. This one had Redmayne worried. This one had Redmayne beat as well.
It's end-to-end stuff at the moment. DiPizio is not going to beat Oluwayemi to the ball. He goes and drives it 10 rows back into the stand. You can't look away at the moment. It's hard to believe there's only been one goal in the game. It's almost like a football table. My spin, your spin. Who's going to put it in the net? McCalmont. Oh, was that a handball by Tap? None of the Phoenix players too interested. Rue. Paul with a long ball from deep. Muir, good first touch. Hugging the line. Sabit Muir, the little step over. And then he stopped and the ball's been knocked back to Steele. 4 additional minutes. Signalled by the 4th official to end the first half. Duarte. McCalmont. And Oluwayemi. He's got his confidence right up now, coming out to claim and collect. That's another strong lead.
The Mariners definitely building their way back into this first half. Still XG well in the favour of the visiting team. But it's been entertaining. It's the first half of chances. Physical first half, transitional. A really fun, enjoyable 45 minutes.
The statistic doesn't reflect the perception that the Mariners have been able to create, that at any given moment they might be about to break and score. They still have 3 of the 4 additional minutes signalled to try and find parity before the break. Body language from Giancarlo Italiano is very much one of a calmer down nature. Are his team going to be able to resist? Roa Conchi. Loke. Sheridan, Cassidy, and a late foul, no foul given, just late contact on Schwen Loke. He's coming to the game with a bandage around his knee as well. Same leg, slightly lower than where the bandage is though.
Here's a look. The contact, just a little push to the side. I think Schwen Loke has had a really sound opening half. Lots of involvement, pushing forward down that right-hand side, looking to provide some crosses. Looks really comfortable.
Cassidy, DiPizio was anticipating the pass. Phoenix keeping their heads. Sheridan, errant touch, does give the ball away. DiPizio. Ball is repelled straight out. Now the Phoenix going to protect this lead to half-time. Ahead in the first 4 minutes, thanks to this player here, Fiani Eze. Nagasawa, block tackle from Sabat Nyor, and now he's going to get the ball back. Trying to thread the eye of the needle to Duarte. Cassidy, Nagasawa. Rufa, Phoenix close control, holding up as we tick into the last minute of stoppage at the end of the first half. It's been a lively, fun game, and you feel as though both teams are going to be committed to attacking and keeping this going after the halftime break. Loke. Caught late by DiPizio. Armiento more than happy to slow things down. Cassidy. Roa Conchi. The Phoenix are happy to hear the halftime whistle at this point, and the Mariners aren't exactly giving them the hurry up, so the referee obliges. And the early goal, the only one so far in this match, Ifiani Eze has 2 in 3 to start the Isuzu Ute A-League season. Hideki Ishige, you see him limping towards the tunnel there after being substituted out with a knee problem. And that is one to be concerned about in the medium-term future. But in the short term, it is the visiting Wellington Phoenix who are in the box seat. Central Coast Mariners 0, Wellington Phoenix 1. So on the other side of this break, the halftime show coming up. We'll break down all the action and go through the key numbers. Stay with us. You're watching the Isuzu Ute A-League Men's.
Say hello to the Ninja Slushie, the convenient way to make frozen drinks at home. No ice means no watered down drinks. No blending means smooth, perfect texture every time. Just pour, slush and enjoy. 5 one-touch programs for any drink that you want. Enjoy perfect results. Transform almost anything with the Ninja Slushie. Love how Yuli in the 7-seat Isuzu MUX SUV. Go your own way.
Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. I'm joined by Eric Partaloo and Robbie Thompson. Thank you for joining me. We will get back to the ground shortly, but we're going to talk some of next weekend's action first, starting off with the New Zealand derby. Steve Corica's men will be humming with Auckland in great shape. So it'll be interesting to see what Chiefy does in this New Zealand derby.
Absolutely. This is a clash of cultures, a clash of worlds, a clash of philosophies this season. Last year, Auckland were far too strong. They won all 3 of the derbies, including the last one 6-1 in what it was just a demolition job. Wellington couldn't wait for last season to end. That looks very different this year. These were great scenes after round 2 in Brisbane, against Brisbane, with that 2-1 victory coming from behind. Last year, Wellington tried to defend and couldn't attack. They sat back, they really suffered in matches, didn't create anything. That response against Brisbane, coming from behind, overpowering a physical Brisbane side 2 weeks ago, hopefully that will be the keys to a side that Chiefy said this year, we want to play with the ball, we want to play attacking football, we're completely changing. Auckland, they are Auckland FC, that doesn't change. They are a tough tackling, disciplined defensive unit. They don't create so much, but they will be very hard to break down. So that's why I think this clash of philosophies will be really interesting, and I think it'll be closer than it was last year.
Do you think Sammy Cosgrove's going to be scoring goals in this sort of team that he's playing around at Auckland? Has he signed the right player there?
I think this is the problem. If there is a problem, a criticism of Corica's Auckland, it's that they don't create enough going forward. Cosgrove is there, much as Max Matter was last year, to get on the end of those crosses, those set pieces. That's one of their routes to goal. Time will tell if he's the missing link up front, but goals have been hard to come by for them.
OK, let's talk about another derby, this time the Melbourne derby. Now, it's been a lacklustre start to the season for Victory, whereas City, the youngsters, are just doing so much right now. Eric, what are you predicting for this one?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Melbourne City. A lot of fixtures coming through November in terms of the Asian Champions League elite. So there's a bit of rotation still in that squad, but it's a grand final replay, and that was a 1-0 victory for City across the season last year. There's a couple of draws in the derbies, and they always mean that much more when you're talking about, you know, taking home the bragging rights. Before, it used to be all about Melbourne Victory and stepping over Melbourne City all the time, and it has turned around in recent times. But I'm excited to see how Aurelio Vidmar actually, you know, utilises his whole squad. He's got a lot of players that can come back in from injury still already at the start of the year, but the young guys are getting it done. Caputo is having a great year, and I'm tipping him now, after round 2 or 3, to be the golden boot.
Well, Eric, you've also played in Asia. You know how hard it is. They've got to go to Japan and then back as well before that fixture. We've seen MacArthur having to deal with it. It's a lot easier when you're winning, but if you're struggling, it can take it out of you as well.
That win against Buriram is a big morale booster, and you're absolutely right. You know, getting all the way across to Japan, losing games, chasing shadows, chasing the ball against better opposition, then coming back, it does, replicate into your A-League form. I think now that they've started getting results in the A-League, the mood's different there now, and I think that won't affect them. The travel, however, that's the biggest one.
Most definitely. Well, you don't want to miss the Melbourne Derby, the 50th instalment. It is on November 8th at 7:35 p.m. Amy Park. You can catch it on 10 and Paramount Plus. Right, let's get back out to the ground and all the highlights from
The Harvey Norman highlights indeed. Grace Gill, as you take a look at, the Mariners thought they'd scored in the very first minute, but the offside flag foiled them. Didn't set the tone for what was a bit of an end-to-end first half of fun.
Well, they very nearly set sail, the Mariners, in the opening 20 seconds of the match. Was a really neat move and looked the goods, but wasn't to be offside. Only for things to turn around up the other end in a well-worked move. Should have been finished on the first time, was indeed on the second by Eze, who has looked really lively across the course of the entire first half.
Only needed 4 minutes to strike first, but he could have had a couple more goals with some of the chances that did present as the afternoon went on. Schwen Loke in his first start gets the pre-assist because there was one more shot there from Finn Roa-Conchi, and that was 1-0 after 4 minutes. All right, Hideki Ishige, before leaving the game injured, he nearly doubled Wellington's lead.
Well, it would have been a lovely free kick. It was a lovely free kick, if not denied by the woodwork, and Ishige, really sad to see him going off with a knee injury. And Armiento's been lively as well. He loves to get a strike away on that left boot, puts his laces through it time and time again.
We saw Redmayne outstretched for one and standing up for the other. Reflexes on the money here.
Well, this is just good positioning by Andrew Redmayne, because that comes at him at a rate of knots off the boot of Carlo Armiento again. And Eze almost gets on the end of what would have been a Oluwaemi assist, and didn't he just know it?
So a goal, but also plenty of frustration. He is top of the Paramount Plus player index, and that is about as big a lead as I've seen for any one player halfway through a game. So statistically, he's having quite the afternoon in addition to being the only scorer.
Yeah, he's been excellent, and I think that top five actually really speaks to the game we're seeing. He's been involved in everything, running off the shoulder of Nathan Paul, who has been sound, but just a couple of occasions Eze has gotten a trick over him. He's coming deep on a few moments as well to pick up possession, really looking to be involved in everything. And fair to say, he should have found more than what he has in just the one goal so far. He's had chances, and I think he'll have more into the second half, should that kind of form and that intensity continue.
So Ifiani Eze will be hoping to add to his tally in the second half as he went through a catalogue of chances in the first. And this was the last of them, just wide of the right-hand post. So that was the Hungry Jacks halftime show. And coming soon to 10 and Paramount Plus, a new documentary about the greatest night in Australian football history. Watch out for that and the second half on the other side of this break.
He was, look at me. The whole stadium cheering, and there were, someone's telling me there was an old man sitting there shaking and just with his head down. And that guy goes, mate, what's going on? Well, we scored. And he goes, yeah, it's my son.
If anyone's been involved in a penalty shootout, the walk from the halfway line to the penalty spot can be the longest walk that you'll ever do.
Ghosties, please make welcome back to the field for your second half. Your second.
Welcome back to Polytech Stadium. Straight down to the sideline. Ben Homer has got Danny Vukovic from the Mariners.
Thank you, Teo. Vuka, what was the message at half-time?
Look, we have to be better with the ball. We didn't start well. We pretty much didn't start playing until about the half-hour mark. So there's opportunities to hurt them. We just need to be better with the ball.
How challenging is it, though, not to fall into the trap with Wellington's high line of trying to play it in behind and potentially getting sucked in where the goalkeeper's, doing quite a good job of sweeping?
No, he's done a good job, but I think if we play out those moments a bit better, time out runs a bit better as well. We've been offside quite a few times, and we get that final pass right, then we can hurt them, and then it's game on.
As you said, the final 15 minutes of that first half, you did create some chances. Does that give you a lot of confidence going into the second half?
Yeah, look, I think we're lucky that it's only 1-0, and that's a positive for us. We still haven't started playing, so if we can get things right this second half, then it's game on for us.
Thanks, Booker. Good luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you to Danny Vukovic joining Ben Homer. We've just seen a substitution go through as well for the Wellington Phoenix. Finro Akonji, who had his issues in the first half, has been replaced by Luke Brooks-Smith for the second half here. As the Mariners get set to kick off, trailing by a goal. And the Wellington Phoenix, who did score in just the 4th minute through Ifiani Eze, have now added Luke Brooks-Smith in a very attacking role. So maybe a bit of a reshuffle of the midfield behind him. Grace Gill, as you rejoined me. Finro Akonji on the end of 2 tackles in the first half, which left him a bit sore. So maybe not a surprise he hasn't re-emerged for the second half.
Yeah, got to say, unsurprised at that one completely. I think Roa Conchi looked a little worse for wear toward the end of that half. He's battered and bruised after a few challenges. And how many times have we spoken about the young talent that is Luke Brooks-Smith? Such an exciting player. He's got 45 minutes ahead of him in a game that Wellington could have made more of, should have made more of.
Here goes Sabat down the right, drifting it across. Edmondson out, pointed in the air. The follow-up from McCalmont. And he struck it into his own man, DiPizio. And then the pass with a bit too much power does find its way out.
Well, I thought Alfie McCalmont was particularly impressive in the Mariners' first game against Newcastle Jets. Tough one last week against Sydney FC, and this afternoon a little quiet. But that said, a lot of that first half was played on the Phoenix's terms. McCalmont in the midfield, just struggling to get on the ball, struggling to get involved.
Luke Brooks-Smith, whose only goal in the Isuzu UTE League so far was the consolation in the 6-1 Derby defeat. So I'm sure he'd love to add to his tally and have a happier goal-scoring moment for the Wellington Phoenix, trying to kickstart his career. Here he is on the ball. Nagasawa. Overhit the pass, and it'll be retrieved by Storm Roo over at right back for the Mariners. Plays it to Tap. Into the head of Kelly Heald. Muir. Stand-up challenge comes in from Rufa. Nagasawa. Setting the first half substitute, Nauru Cassidy, a task.
I thought he's been really good, Nauru Cassidy, since coming on for the injured Ishige. And the 19-year-old wearing the number 50 this afternoon. No name on the back of his shirt just yet, but has been really assured in the middle of the park. He's a young player who's looking for the ball. He's asking to get on the ball. He's wanting to have possession and pull strings, exactly as a midfielder should. Great to see, just at 19 years old, he can step into that role.
As the Mariners slowly work their way down the right sideline. Nathan Paul. Moragas pulls that onto his preferred left foot, sees Duarte. Duarte with Steele in the middle. Now sweeping pass over to the right. Sabat-Nyor. He's been in this position through the first half. Can he finish here? He stings the palms of Josh Oluwayemi. A shot on target leads to a corner for the Central Coast.
And the first shot on target of the afternoon. And that's a better move from the Mariners. And this more clinical from Sabatnor. Good movement, a little shift of weight. And a stinging shot indeed. Alawaumi down to his left and had to be really alert to that strike.
Outswinging corner. Duarte was challenging for the header. It's quarter deflection. Repeat corners coming. Alfie McCalmont. Second corner in a row. Nathan Paul, bit of shirt grabbing going on. And as the ball deflects out for a corner on the opposite side, Nagasawa got the last touch. Keep an eye on Nathan Paul. He's being followed by Matthew Sheridan. You saw the shirt stretching out off the body at that last corner. A little bit of grabbing and grappling. Short corner this time. Muir. McCalmont. Muir. Cross straight onto the head of Brooke Smith. And now he's got the ball at his feet. He can't send Eze away. Muir. McCalmont to DiPizio. Moragas. Hear the shouts of up, and the Phoenix back line obliges. Redmayne's clearance. And as the ball slides out, it's a chance to go down to Ben Homer and get some more intel with what we're hearing from the sideline.
Yeah, thanks, Tao. I asked Giancarlo Italiano what his halftime message was. He said, "Don't lose." That was probably one of the shortest answers I think I've got from him. But going to a more serious point, injuries though for Wellington, a little bit of a concern for them. James obviously out with the quad injury, Payne the collarbone, Ishige the ankle. And if you watch Mark Milligan's press conference yesterday, he actually mentioned the injury replacement rule. Your player has to be earning over 300K to be able to use an injury replacement player to replace them. So I would doubt Wellington will be able to have an injury replacement for those players. We'll see how this plays out.
Moragas, deflected, Muir! Mariners level, and it's Sabatnor with the goal. Just his second in the A-League, and his first in more than a year. It's been a bright start to the second 45 from the home side, and Sabatnor draws the Mariners level 1-1.
Well, it's a super important goal on the Harvey Norman replay, not just for the Mariners, but for Sabatnor. He's had a couple of chances across the afternoon, and on this occasion, makes absolutely no mistake. It's clinical, it's measured. He picks a spot past the on-rushing goalkeeper, draws his team level, and that's a goal that instills confidence. That's a goal at home that means so much to a player.
Alawaumi beaten, and the game levelled, 1-1. It's massive for Sabatnor. Only his 12th appearance today, or 13th appearance, and second career goal. And as you say, Grace, it's his first at home at Polytech Stadium. His only previous goal was away at Cooper Stadium against Adelaide United. A player who has perhaps most typified the journey of bouncing between the NPL level and the A-League level. And on a day like today, he really could be establishing himself as a permanent fixture in the professional ranks as he wins the ball back here. Storm Roux. He's been such a prominent player at Australia Cup time, Sabatnor. Now he wants to play through summers, not just winter. And the Phoenix, well, Giancarlo Italiano's two-word halftime message becomes all the more pertinent with the game back on level terms.
Well, don't lose the instruction from Italiano. Win, surely, the mentality that needs to be. Mariners, that was built in for them, the tail end of the first half. They were growing back into the game, just clawing back a few opportunities. Muir had chances as well. Moments of indecision.
You saw, as the stats popped up there, the contrast in shots. 13 zip in the first half. In favour of the Phoenix, 5 zip to the Mariners here in the second.
Smith,
midfielders to deal with, and Rufer is enough to knock him off his feet.
The voice you hear coming from the sideline is that of Chiefy, screaming at his players to close the space, get closer to the ball. Animated, vocal. He said after last week's half-time, or during last week's half-time break against Brisbane, gave them an absolute riling in the change rooms. Wasn't happy with the first half, and they came out and produced what they did to defeat Brisbane in the second.
Eavesdropping for us, Ben Homer, who is the target of most of Giancarlo Italiano's instruction and shouting at present.
It's Luke Brooks-Smith. He's very unhappy. He's just come onto the field and he wants more energy from him. So that's who Giancarlo Italiano a little bit unimpressed by at the moment. Just another couple of things to note. So Cassidy's number 50 shirt, he does have a shirt with his name on it. It's number 37, but there was a malfunction, I'm told, with the shirt. That's why he's in number 50 without a name on the back. So just some information on that front.
Thank you, Ben. Keeping an eye on everything. Of course, there's going to be more sub-activity down there on the sidelines as the game goes on. And speaking of Anaru Cassidy, he's able to win a free kick here, much to the displeasure of Miguel de Pizia.
Well, the boos are ringing out across the stadium because the Central Coast Mariners faithful thought there was a foul. Referee Tim Danaskos had played advantage.
Brooks Smith lays it out to Armiento. He's trying to reacquaint himself with the game here in the second half. And he has his shot blocked immediately by Storm Roux. Kelly Heald committed. Muir got round him, but he didn't get round Cassidy, and he's left a foot in here. Free kick. The home fans won't like it, but Anaru Cassidy's been able to win the foul.
Here's a look at the first one. This is the little coming together. The second one is that's the one the Central Coast Mariners were calling for, and here the Cassidy just slips away from Muir and receives a late clip. It's starting to get all a little fiery.
See Danny Vukovic lurking in the background. Warren Moon's getting first dibs on the fourth official for now. He is actually such a friendly guy, Warren Moon. I think Johnny Barrero might not mind. It's Warren Moon chewing his ear off. Here comes the resulting free kick. Armiento. And first header was Wellington, but Isaac Hughes not really able to shape it in any meaningful way, and he hustles back to the centre of defence. His goal was in April, Isaac Hughes. So away in Adelaide. Just the two career. Mariners into their attacking half in the blink of an eye. McCalmont breaking crossfield pass. Savignor's got one. Breaks wide and steers it straight to Sheridan. And Cassidy will ensure safe passage out of defence for the Phoenix.
Really nice vision from Alfie McCalmont just to open the field up. Savignon with a good first touch. Wellington do enough just to manage the situation.
Nagasawa hoping for Eze. First touch brings it to his advantage, but he's going to have to roll wide to keep possession here. support arriving now. Nagasawa. Eze. Hughes. Hughes pass, sees Brooke Smith. He's able to shake McCalmont. It's Brooke Smith, blocked immediately by Paul. Rufer, Brooke Smith again, goes for it again. Good sharp save by Redmayne. Eze into the middle and cleared away in desperation by Tapp. Wellington so close to retaking the lead. And they remain deep in attack. Cassidy, clever. Armiento, still Armiento! And Redmayne somehow keeps it out of the net. Carlo Armiento can't believe it. Andrew Redmayne very much can.
Well and truly he can. It's this end of the field that Andrew Redmayne saved the penalty against the Newcastle Jets. And 2 saves in as many minutes. Redmayne again up to task. Armiento didn't want it on his right foot, trying to hustle a way through to get it on his left. And point blank, great reaction save from the goalkeeper. That's quality from Andrew Redmayne.
3 shots on target for Carlo Armiento, and the 3 best saves of the day from Andrew Redmayne to foil him. He has to immediately think about a corner kick instead. We've passed the hour mark. Phoenix pressing. Armiento. Uncontested header for Tapp. Hooks back into the box. And this time, an easier catch for the Mariners goalie. He's being made to work. An overarm throw continues the end-to-end nature of the game. Moragas hoping for Duarte, and Sheridan, even though he sent it tumbling, is able to usher the ball over the line for a goal kick. Mariners thinking about a sub. Warren Moon with a nod to the 4th official. And it's going to be Bailey Brandman coming on here for Nico Duarte. So the hour mark does bring about a sub, and it's the Central Coast's first of the game.
Well, Brandman, who started the first 2 games on the bench today, Duarte given the nod, and they swap spots.
So the 20-year-old Brandman enters the game. Appearance number 21, still looking for a first Isuzu Ute A-League goal. Duarte, the 21-year-old, takes his leave. Wellington have had to make 2 forced changes in this game. So the Mariners now have made their first. Brooke Smith putting the pressure on Paul. He's going to run it all the way out, but Redmayne is comfortable in the clearance. Muir just able to force Kelly Hill to concede a throw. DiPizio. Harry Steele. For the crossfield pass. Was it off the arm of Cassidy? Play continues, and McCalmont. Bailey Brandman leads the press. Edmondson coming with him. Eze is never afraid to drop deep to help out the midfield, and that's exactly what he's done there. The outlet pass. Nagasawa. Eze on the left wing at the moment, and Nagasawa tried to continue the run. Armiento couldn't find him. And the Mariners just yield possession straight back, and Warren Moon waves from the sideline for his team to calm down. Carlo Italiano looking a picture of calm. He's gone and taken a seat amongst the empty substitute chairs as they all warm up, the remaining ones at least. And that pass will skew out for a throw-in. Pizio going back to the centre of defence, and Nathan Paul finds McCalmont in space to distribute out to Brantman. If he can run it down, that is. Not quite.
Despite the fresh legs, that one asking too much of Brantman. Really enjoyed the pass to cut through the midfield from Nathan Paul. That passage out the back, Paul into the midfield, cut off 4 Wellington players with one fell swoop.
Wearing the captain's armband at 22 years old and game 38 in the A-League. He was a member of the Sydney FC Academy before the Mariners came offering first-team football. Here's Brooke Smith, how he's lifted here. And as he chop steps inside, he perhaps attempted to do a little too much. It was enterprising, but ultimately no shot fired.
Made it look all too easy. Brooke Smith gliding past his opposition, and this questionable on the foul, nonetheless advantage played. A little tap to himself. Speaking of tap, Tap was begging for Redmayne to come out off his line. And the return in run. Good defensive effort from Nyor to apply the pressure.
Really does feel like the game is in the balance. Each attack has an air of threat to it. Edmondson took a long run up to come flying in, and he ironed out Hughes as a result. But the Phoenix have the ball. Eze. The Pistons are pumping as he chases it down first. And he hits the line. Does he win a corner? He does not. Goal kick.
He's been managed well into this second half. Very involved, very lively in the first 45. But with Mariners clawing their way back into the game in the second, have a look at whose leg it was last to touch, and that's a good call from the assistant referee.
Astro Sakalis, today's referee. His sister Sophia plays in the Ninja A-League for Melbourne Victory. Been a long time assistant referee or central referee down in Melbourne. Hughes. Kelly Heald.
Get back.
Standing off for now. Phoenix will be forced to act because McCalmont committed. DiPizio joined him, and Brantman, just when it looked like the press had won the ball, the whistle goes. Rufer. This is going to bend into the path of Eze. It's Iviani Eze! And now Brooke Smith on the follow-up. Deflected wide. The Mariners net living a charmed life. First Redmayne, then Paul. It's out for a corner.
Well, both players looking up in desperation. Eze probably has to do a little better with the strike. Puts it at a really comfortable height for a goalkeeper to stop. It's a strong right hand from Redmayne, and this, the deflection, could have gone anywhere. But 2 good chances in just as many movements. Phoenix growing back into this half.
Now swinging corner. Hughes, not on target. Second ball on the way though. Loke, blocked. Got out to foil Schwen Loke out on the wing. Rufa. Armiento. First time volley, sky high. Cassidy, really clever. And then Loke not able to find a teammate with the cutback. DiPizio. For Edmondson. Striker's challenge coming in from Ifiani Eze. And he concedes the free kick.
Well, if nothing less, it slows down the play a bit for the Mariners. Edmondson looking to stream through and just a bit clumsy coming through from Eze.
Eze, he is pressing Redmayne, has a bit of space, and he goes long. Brantman is just going to chase Sheridan here, force Sheridan to clear first time, and clear it straight to McCalmont. And now DiPizio in the pocket. He sends it to Brantman, lifts the cross, Muir, and headed out for a corner by Hughes.
The scrambling defence from the Wellington Phoenix. They're on the back foot. Nice little ball slipped through, and this dink, clever to the far post. Muir really has to try and get that on target. Selfless, yes. It had Wellington seriously worried.
It will encourage the Mariners to see Miguel DiPizio operating as the classic number 10 on that build-up play. Here comes the corner. First head Rufa, hard one as well. DiPizio, Moragas. Sheridan got a body in the road. Stormroo. Out to McCalmont. McCalmont whips it in. Brantman denied by Hughes. He's going to find him at feet though. Tap. Blocked away. Nagasawa doing the work. Corbin Piper has been summoned by the Phoenix sideline. He's putting his kit on, getting ready to enter the game. Perhaps Giancarlo Italiano seeing another shift in momentum here as the Mariners try to grow into the final 20 minutes. Hughes, Rufa, Armiento wins a throw in for his team. There is Corbin Piper.
You want to ride away?
3 career goals, and if he comes on here, we'll be making A-League appearance number 25. And it's going to be subbing the sub because the first half entrant to the game, Anaru Cassidy, after the early injury to Hideki Ishige, is going to leave, but Grace Gill, a pretty good first showing from the 19-year-old on debut.
Yeah, I don't think this substitution is anything to do with performance. Anaru Cassidy can be really proud of what he produced in that first half into the second. Really promising signs for the young midfielder, and I imagine this will just be a slight tactical change. We'll see. There's some instructions in Corbin Piper coming on, quite how this will shake out in the formation.
Mariners hoping that little delay doesn't break their momentum, but the ball runs long out for a goal kick. Remaining Mariners on the bench include Christian Theoharis, Abdul Faisal. There is Theoharis. Arthur DeLima, potential debutant Alexi Heridas, and another potential debutant Shumba Mudakoi. Any of them take your interest, Grace, as a potential sub to come on soon for the Central Coast?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a player like Christian Theoharis soon in terms of impact, what he can provide in attacking play, getting forward on that left-hand side, a really powerful left foot.
Sheridan. Hughes and Kelly Heald. Long ball from Isaac Hughes. Corbin Piper, first involvement flying against Brad Tapp. Storm Roo. On the chest of Kelly Heald. Brooke Smith coughs up the ball. Savinor, can he capitalise though? Nagasawa solidly through the back, and then there's been a response. Harrison Steele taking exception, and perhaps cooler heads are going to stop this escalating even further, but quite the flashpoint.
We'll have another look at this one as Nagasawa comes through the back, and Harry Steele, I tell you what, he is treading an incredibly fine line. Watch as he gets back up here. Swing of an arm, doesn't make contact, but there's a question mark, a big question mark over this one.
Well, a yellow card is shown, and of course there was plenty of conjecture in the first half about Harry Steele, whether he should have already been in the book for the tackle on Hideki Ishige. Well, the referee, Tim Danaskos, has made his ruling, and a yellow now is the call, and that's it. They are not intervening any further. Arthur De Lima is being readied by the Mariners. And now, though, an attacking set piece. McCalmont. And he puts it over the head of Paul, and that will bounce out and prompt, we suspect, this substitution here. So the board goes up, and it's Miguel DiPizio making way. Arthur De Lima coming on for disappearance number 12 in the Isuzu UTE League. And DiPizio gets congratulations from the sideline as he goes. Grace, what do you make of the change?
Yeah, it makes sense. The creative player coming on. DiPizio takes his rest on the bench. With just a little shy of 15 minutes to play after De Lima. Really fun at his best.
Tapp being pursued by Brooke Smith. Redmayne takes the ball wide. With the bounce, it's going to sit up kindly for Savinor. Bradman turns onto his right, back onto his left. McCalmont. The run from Storm Roo. And cleared away. Arthur De Lima, straight off the bench, is arguing he was obstructed by Sheridan. Perhaps more in hope than expectation.
Well, this is a really lovely ball, clipped through from Alfie McCalmont, and a very intelligent run at the far post from Storm Roo.
Oluwayemi makes a comfortable enough catch, but Eze sprinting, Tapp. His first touch is slid towards the line, but he's recovered to win a throw-in.
Again at the clip. Clever from Storm Roo, the centering pass. Not enough in that for me. Shouts from De Lima, but just good use of the body. Wellington defending really well on that occasion. And I tell you what, Harry Steele has got to be careful. Still in the ear of the referee, Tim Danaskos. He's just picked up a yellow card for the last challenge.
Piper buzzing around, but he's chasing shadows at the moment. There is Harry Steele playing it out to Alfie McCalmont. Brandon's made a real impact since coming on. Moragas swings a ball in, and looping from Edmondson. Last touch off the striker. Out it goes. Steele has been one of the central figures in the game today. Up to 91 appearances already at just 23 years of age, so he's been a mainstay ever since breaking into the Central Coast team. Kelly Hills. Armiento. Rufer. Squares it out to the right. Loke keeps it in. Brooke Smith not able to link up with Loke. Bradman back in the other direction. De Lima trying, striving, but not able to beat Sheridan to the ball. Throw-in finds Brandman. Edmondson. De Lima. And now Moragas deflected immediately, and that bends it behind for a corner kick.
A nice little flash forward by the Mariners. Definitely a better half from the home side. Defended well at the back by Matthew Sheridan, the 21-year-old, who plays, I've got to say, well above his years, a sense of assurance at the back. And now with some more defending to do.
Home fans trying to urge the Central Coast on. Bradman to take the corner. Taps header, and out it goes off Sheridan. It was along the line, but a great threat to the net. It's done well to win a second set piece.
Well, Tap's done really well to keep that alive. It did look like for half a moment the ball was just floating out.
Muir, a glider, and Oluwayemi shows off his jumping prowess again. Able to claim the ball right at the top of his leap. So into the last 10 minutes of regulation. Can the Phoenix take winning form into the New Zealand derby next weekend? Will it be the Mariners winning for the second time this season? Muir. Not too much of the ball. Just had it taken off him by Armiento. Fans didn't like the throw-in call. Phoenix were away. Everyone taking a breather with the ball in live play, it seems. Now the Mariners engage. That pass sends Sheridan veering away, so some meterage conceded. Intercepted in it now. Oluwayemi, the last line of defence. And all that looks like a deliberate handball rather than a throw-in. Doesn't look like it's going to be accompanied with a booking, though.
Yeah, a little unorthodox there for Eze, but he's gotten away with that one.
Yeah, I hear a few shouts about a card coming, but the moment has passed. Rue. Edmondson will be first to the ball. First time cross. And a worm burner through the penalty area and out.
Strong run. Ryan Edmondson lashes that across the 6-yard box. And that kind of delivery, all it needs is a touch, a toe.
Christian Theoharis will be the next sub to enter the game. Hasn't scored since March. He's never scored against the Wellington Phoenix. If he comes on here, it'll be his 9th career appearance against them. So Warren Moon is hoping he can be the catalyst that wins the game. But Grace, a word on it. Savignon as he takes his leave, having scored just his 2nd career goal in the A-League and his first in front of the home fans here at Polytech Stadium.
And a nice finish it was from Savignon. And he can feel really buoyed by that, the confidence it needs to give him. Had some chances, had some moments and could have made more of them, but the one that mattered was the one that did find the back of the net. And Christian Theoharis has a big few minutes ahead of him.
Just the 12th A-League appearance for the 24-year-old Savitnor comes to an end with just over 6 minutes of regulation to go. And Thea Harris could perhaps be the late surge of energy the Mariners need. Tap to Steele. Harris, first involvement off the bench, and it does win a throw in for his team. McCallum. Edmondson, we've seen this move just a moment ago. This time the Phoenix have got more defenders back covering. And Calmont knocked off the ball. Little grab of the shirt from Brooke Smith. Advantage given. Eze twisting, turning. He lost his feet, but the ball found its way to a friendly face.
Well, it's really isolated there for a couple of moments, Eze. He hasn't been able to get involved quite as much into the second half. And certainly a Wellington performance that across their first 45 minutes, they'll be ruling their missed chances. It was a first half of 13 shots, 4 of those on target, denied the Central Coast Mariners completely from a shot on target. Much different picture we're seeing in the second 45.
Stormaroo. Back to Andrew Redmayne, who's roamed out of his penalty area. The Mariners won't keep possession here. Phoenix get an opportunity to load up themselves. Will there be any temptation to be satisfied with the draw? Or will they go for it? Brooke Smith. Nagasawa. Eze breaking, but breaking wide. His attempt to chop it back towards Armiento comes unstuck. Paramount Plus player index, Andrew Redmayne has gone to the top of the leaderboard. Not a surprise, given the volume of saves he's had to make. Player who's currently down, Ifiani Eze, is number 2. We will revisit the Paramount Plus player index in the post-game.
I feel comfortable to say that without Andrew Redmayne, it would be a very different picture. We're looking at a couple of crucial saves that have kept Central Coast Mariners in this.
Long ball here might have foiled Wellington. Thea Harris. Still Thea Harris. He goes to ground. Maybe one touch too many. Warren Moon is asking about a penalty from the sideline. So were the fans. But he just never pulled the trigger. Bailey Brantman now advancing. Brantman blocked away. Off the back of Sheridan. Thea Harris challenges again. Moragas. Thea Harris, a quick 1-2. Moragas driving across. Kept away from Edmondson. Vital defensive header. And as the ball bounces out, the shot just never came from Christian Thea Harris.
Well, another little flashpoint. Fourth official, Jonathan Barrero, is quick to the scene.
So with 2 minutes of regulation to go and telling off, things are going to spark back to life. It's going to be a sprint to the finish line from here. Who wants the 3 points more?
Right from that earlier moment, Christian Thea Harris wanted the shot on his left foot. Didn't want to unleash on his right.
Brooke Smith, clever back heel. Piper, Eze. They had 2 defenders to contend with, but Tappers put it behind for a corner.
Just a slight sense of panic there from the Mariners defence, scrambling to get back in. Tap, Paul, involved in everything this afternoon, working hard just to steer that one away. And the in-swinging corner off the left boot of Carlo Armiento.
He's in no hurry to come over and take Wellington's 8th corner of the match. We've ticked into the last minute of the 90. Put this on the money, and it might be Wellington flying back for the New Zealand derby with big smiles. Armiento. And a comfortable punch away for Redmayne. And the volley goes wide from Loke.
The delivery from Armiento, although good shape, just needs to be away from Andrew Redmayne, who has been so confident in between the sticks tonight for the Mariners. And that's an easy punch away by the goalkeeper. He's had a little glimpse at the clock behind him.
So as we tick into 4 minutes of additional time, it's the Mariners' turn to venture forward. Potentially a high boot there. Schwen Loke won the header, cleared it for a throw. I thought it should have been a free kick. Christian Theoharis is coming over to take the throw in, so the Mariners happy to eat up a few more seconds in order for the right player to take the throw here. And after much anticipation, Christian Theoharis hurls the ball into the box. Edmondson's header flicked on, and Armiento wins the race to the ball, driving it out on the opposite side of the pitch. This game drawing to a close. McCalmont. Redmayne. Piper keeping him honest. Kelly Heald's header. Rue. Looping ball. For De Lima, trying to make it difficult for Kelly Heald. And he's managed to get himself in front. Not able to get himself a free kick though. Wellington throw in.
That's well defended by Lucas Kelly Heald. Just enough contact. Good use of the body. De Lima looking for the foul. Not getting it there.
So we've nearly finished round 3. Round 4, all roads lead to Amy Park. The Melbourne Derby, Saturday night next week. You can see it. McCalmont. That'll be not even keeper's ball. Oluwayemi happy to watch it go long and out. More than half of stoppage expired. So it's going to take something special to win it from here. Both teams have run themselves ragged out there, but is there one last burst? It's been good fun. Perhaps the chances that would have yielded a scoreline far higher than a 1-1 draw on a different day. De Lima. Still Arthur De Lima bursting into the box. And really good one-on-one defending to see the ball out for a goal kick.
That's quality from Isaac Hughes. Just keeps in step. Great use of the body. Good strength shown on the ball. Excellent defending.
Eze. Armiento able to skip past Rue initially. Rue trying to get back goal side and does. Now he's got company with Brantman to win the ball away. Armiento's going to get a second chance. And a free kick conceded. Storm Rue taking the legs of Carlo Armiento. It's effectively a corner where the free kick is going to be taken from.
Well, this is so needless from Storm Roux. When the player is facing the sideline, you just don't need to go through the back of them like that. And that's the frustration, I think, from Warren Moon. An unnecessary free kick, and surely what is the last of the game.
Giancarlo Italiano chatting away. Carlo Armiento, stoppage time has expired. The Phoenix have got a time-wasting sub. If there's any clock left after this set piece. Armiento's outswinger, Redmayne just a palm, just enough. Sliced away, all eyes to the referee. A quick glance at the watch, not reaching for the whistle just yet. Now he is. That will do it. A 1-1 draw. Great entertainment, no debut for Dan Edwards. He's left standing next to the fourth official. No need to use that sub. Savignon scored his second Isuzu Ute A-League goal to equalise for the Central Coast Mariners. And that was after Ipiani Eze had made it 2 goals in 3. He had plenty more chances to add to the tally, but ultimately settling for a draw is what these two teams will have to do. Not they wanted to for the course of the game. It was end-to-end, it was hectic, but ultimately it could not find a winner. And the conversation between the two gaffers continues as the game ends. Central Coast Mariners 1, Wellington Phoenix 1. So a really good afternoon's entertainment has come to an end, and in the aftermath for a bit of player reaction is Ben Homer.
Thank you, Taya. Yes, I've got Harry Steele. Harry, a draw. It felt like it was the fair result in the end, but no doubt you're disappointed that you weren't able to find that winner at the back end.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the first half, I think we weren't up to it. They were just winning duels, winning 50-50s, winning second balls. So we had a big talk at half-time and come out in the second half, and I thought we dominated the second half. We had some really good chances. Chrissy's one at the end there. I think he should shoot. I don't know why. I think he's trying to dribble it in, but yeah, look, it's disappointing, but we'll take the point and move on to next week.
We know you always show that intensity, but as you said, lacking more in the first half. What do you feel like was off and the reason for that?
Look, I'm not sure. They obviously play a pretty weird style. It's obviously working for them, but I don't know. We worked on it this week, but we just kind of were half a step off, half a second off everything. So we went in half-time, as I said, and we just fixed it and told each other that we need to be on the ball, winning duels, otherwise we're going to get killed in the second half. So, and we come out, scored the goal, and probably could have had a few more.
You said that they play a weird style, obviously, with that high line. Is it difficult not to get sucked into the trap?
Yeah, it is. Look, as I said, I haven't really seen it too often where they play that high and take the risk of the offside trap, but as I said, it was effective for them. They caught us out a few times with it, so it was just unfortunate that we didn't catch them out more. But yeah, look, we'll reflect on it and get ready for Perth next week.
A little bit of a confrontation there with Kazuki Nagasawa. You going to reveal what you were saying there?
Nah, I just said you're a good bloke. We played a trial game here a few weeks ago and he actually got me one in the jaw, so yeah, I was kind of looking for one there to get him back.
Well, looking forward to round 3, Harry. Thank you so much and well played today. There's Harry Steele. We're going to bring in fellow young gun Carlo Armiento. Carlo, congratulations on another really important performance for yourself for Wellington. Just talk us through, you know, how much you're loving being back in this league.
Yeah, I think it just shows for itself. I'm just coming out, having fun each game, and I think full credit goes to Chiefy. He's brought me in and put me in this role, and I think, he's shown all belief, and so far I've started all right.
This afternoon, where do you feel that one got away? Because in the first half, you had that early goal, you looked so comfortable, but then in the second half, maybe didn't create as many opportunities as you would have liked.
Yeah, I think the 2 injuries doesn't help, and we probably got 5 boys at home injured, so we're in a bit of a mini injury crisis. But I think, like you said, the first half all over, and I think we started probably slow in the second half, and then we slowly kind of got back into it. But Mariners at home came out, and full credit to them. They pushed us. Yeah, probably 2 points dropped for us.
The style, everyone's talking about it, the high line this season. I feel like you're going to be speaking about it a lot throughout the campaign. Just talk us through how you feel like you're adjusting to this style this season, because it's not often we see teams playing this way in the A-League.
Yeah, I think everyone's talking about the high line, but no one's talking about we're having, I don't know today, but We're keeping the ball 70% of the time. We're creating chances. We're scoring goals each game. So I think having the high line helps us having the ball because we're all connected when we lose it. So yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. I know the boys are, and full credit to Chief. He's stuck with the plan, and probably need to just get a few boys back from injury and we'll be all right.
Well, Carlo, we're loving watching you. Congratulations. I know it's only a draw, but well done.
Thank you.
Big thanks to Ben Homer and Carlo Armiento.